intervention to conceive. That's a very huge number, and not many people are actually talking about this. We even just said that this is a very rare sighting to see a couple actually openly discussing their issues. Chebet from Mombasa is on the line before we continue with our panelists. Yes, good morning, Chebet.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Chebet. Yes, go ahead.
We actually been trying to conceive for a year now. We did a HCG, HSG, and then I can just read the results for Daktari so that he can advise.
Okay.
The conclusion is bilateral hydrocephaly with partial fiber tubal block. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Daktari, you can hear Chebet has just read out what the report said. In her case, what was the cause then?
Now, in her case, you heard what she said. She did what we call HSG, which is a simple test. Actually, it's one of the basic tests that we do when it comes to diagnosis of infertility in women, where we check whether the tubes are okay, whether the tubes are patent, by introducing a dye into the womb, and then we do a series of X-ray pictures. What she mentioned is that she has bilateral hydrosalpinx, and there's partial blockage, means that the tubes are blocked, and there is fluid in it.
So for her, is surgery the only solution?
For her, surgery is the only solution, and the surgery is not opening the tubes. It is not draining the tubes, because essentially those tubes are not functional. Because there is fluid in them, they are not functional. Even if drainage is done, the fluid will still accumulate again. So if it were my wife, because that's what I do, I always tell my patients, whatever treatment I'm going to suggest to you, it is exactly the same treatment I would do to my wife, because I want the best for my wife. So for Chebet, I would suggest she has the tubes removed and she goes for IVF. That will give her the best results. Why? Simply because that fluid being there, and even if she decided she wants to go for IVF because the tubes are blocked, that fluid can actually seep back into the womb, and it creates an atmosphere in the womb which is not conducive for the embryo to implant. B, the small amount of fluid, it can be 0.5 milliliter, for instance, which is basically nothing. But for an embryo which is microscopic, that 0.5 milliliter is like a tsunami. So it can actually sweep it away. So the best option is get the tubes out, go for IVF.
Lillian, what were your options when you people were told, by the way, now it's not possible anymore? Were you thinking, okay, this is it, this is what God has actually decided for us, that's it, we're giving up? Or what were you looking into?
Okay, the first time I didn't know what to do. It took me time, but in God's own way. I think we thought about adapting, but it was
still a dicey situation now, 50-50.
Like, is this child going to be accepted? But we just took time before getting into that. And then in God's own way, he gave us a son. I think my husband can add on to that.
Actually, there's something, there's a period of mourning. It's literally mourning. The moment you're told. We went to a doctor in Eldoret, and this is a respectable gynecologist, and I mean, everybody else will say, have you gone to Dr. So-and-so? Have you gone there? Have you gone there? You know, everybody's saying, you know, you must go to Dr. Mabea. You know, go to Dr. Mabea. And we went there and we were told, your tubes are blocked. There's nothing that can happen. We are sorry.
This is it.
This is it. You cannot. It was literally a period of mourning. And there was nothing. Of course, he told us that the only option you have is IVF. But I can tell you, it was not easy. We actually took, I think, 6 years or 7 years to accept the fact that we can go for IVF.
Okay, speaking about IVF, because there's probably someone watching and saying, what is this IVF, IVF? Daktari, what is IVF?
IVF is an acronym for in vitro fertilization. Now, simply put, in that normally an egg is released and it travels through a tube called the fallopian tube where it meets with sperm. The egg is fertilized and it forms what is called an embryo or a baby, the beginning of a baby. And then this baby travels down into the womb and drills a hole in the wall of the uterus and sticks there and the pregnancy starts developing. Now, if there are issues, for instance, with blockage of the tubes, like what Chebet said, there will be no way that that egg can travel into the tube. So we have an option. We get these patients, we give them medications every day for about 10 to 14 days. And the purpose of this is for them to develop many eggs, because normally a lady develops only one egg. Very rarely do they develop 2 eggs. So once, as we are giving them these medications, injections every day, we monitor how these eggs are developing. Eggs, I'm putting eggs because basically what we are monitoring is what is called a follicle. And a follicle is what carries an egg. So we see how many there are and how they are developing.
And then now you'd be going forward to harvest these eggs.
Yes, exactly. Once they are ready, big enough, we take them to theater. We don't cut anywhere. Because most patients would say, so are you going to cut me somewhere? No, we don't cut anywhere. We actually do the harvesting transvaginally. So we collect the fluid that is in the follicle, which has an egg in it or eggs in them, and then we analyze that under a microscope. There's somebody called an embryologist. And then the husband or the partner gives us a semen sample. And then we take one sperm and inject it into each mature egg. And we put that in an incubator. And the egg, once the egg has been fertilized, it starts growing into an embryo. And then after about 3 days or even 5 days, now we transfer the embryo back into the womb.
All right. Abdi from Isiolo is actually on the line. Good morning, Abdi.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good. Kindly speak up so that we can hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Abdi from Chula, as you have said. First of all, I just wanted to thank Vivian and her husband. Because it's not easy to come to a studio and to explain the situation. So I just wanted to tell them to take heart. And maybe God will be with you. The other person I wanted to thank is Dr. The point is making it very clear and I'm getting it very well.
Thank you.
So that's why I've just called in. Thank you very much.
Asante sana for that. That's such kind words coming from Abdi. Jamila is also on the line. Good morning, Jamila.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for watching. Do you have a question or a comment?
Yes. I wanted to know how I can reach the doctor. If we can please leave his maybe contact or anything on his social media so that I can reach out on him, because also I have some fertility problems.
We'll do that definitely. We'll actually put you in touch with him. Thank you for that. All right. So very quickly, understanding what IVF is all about. When you heard about this, because you said it is the lady who will actually be given medication. Were you open to that? He just mentioned something about injections. Injections every single day. Wow.
It's not an easy journey.
Actually, and painful?
It's not that painful. Maybe the injections, because unadungwa kwa tumbo. Hizo tu maybe ndio inaweza kuwa painful. But mara ya kwanza unajiuliza hii process inaendaje? Unajua how is it? Because it is something you've never done before. And you don't know how it's going to be. So your medication ina take time. But nearly go through it and I thank God for it.
All right. Maureen from Kasarani is back. We lost her earlier on, but hopefully she's still there. Maureen, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes, I'm Maureen from Kasarani.
Yes.
Last week I visited the gyno, and I was told that I have a right partial tubal blockage. And on the left side, they said I have a mild hydrosalpinase. And the doctor said that he referred me to surgery. So my question was, I was asking, is it necessary for a surgery, or is there any medicine that I can take? Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Maureen. Dr. Lots of questions, because people are wondering how invasive, number one, is IVF and all these treatments, especially surgery. It seems like, I mean, this is just too much. Like,
well, we do surgery not because we enjoy doing surgery. Well, we enjoy doing surgery in order to help the patients.
Yes.
But we don't do it for the sake of doing it.
Right.
Okay, like what Maureen has talked about, that on one side there is mild hydrosalpinx, on the other side is a blockage. Yeah. Again, we come back to the same problem. The biggest issue with infertility in this part of the world is blocked tubes. Yeah. In the UK, where I trained, the biggest problem was age. Yeah. Ladies who are more than 35. It's slowly creeping into this country, by the way. So in her case, where she was referred for surgery, I don't know what the surgeon would want to do. Right. Because if the surgeon tries to open the tubes, the chances of it working is about 2%. Now, and then even if it works, the chances of her having an ectopic pregnancy is almost 100%. Okay. So I'm not very sure whether that surgery will help her. Yeah. The only surgery I would suggest for her is to get rid of the hydrosalpinx. Yes. Get the tube out which has hydrosalpinx, and then she goes for IVF. All right. That is what would help.
All right, Francis from Nyanyuki. Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, go ahead, Francis.
Mimi nauliza bibi yangu amekuwa amewahi fanyiwa upasuaji. Yeah. Imesemekana hizo fallopian tubes ni block. Sasa akafanyiwa upasuaji, sasa kutoka hapo.
Okay, we seem to have lost him. But, all right, just basing on what Francis had actually talked about surgery yet again and the success rate of surgery. But going back to our couple, Abedi, if we see a situation, or if you were in a situation whereby you would have, you know, needed a donor to actually come in, or surrogacy, would have this been an option for you guys as a couple, whereby either a surrogate had to be involved, or whether there'd have to be donor sperm?
Actually, the issue of maybe the donor comes much later when you are unable to produce
completely,
you're unable to produce the viable cells. Yes. Yeah. But that one is an option, because at the end of the day, there are very few options that you have. Yeah. Surrogacy also is also another option that is also there. Although I think in Kenya we don't have good legislation that is governing surrogacy because of the many other issues that may come out about the, you know, you can get a surrogate, they carry the baby, and then they decide they're not giving you the baby. Right. So how do you go about it? So I think there's also a challenge in Kenya about surrogacy. I think last parliament, I think Honorable Joyce Lay, I think she introduced a motion in parliament, but I don't think it went through. Okay. Yeah, about that. All but in terms of IVF, I think also it's not okay. Most people cannot really embrace it. Yes. Okay. From I have a science background. Yes. I've been trained as a scientist. I understand these things.
So you understand, but there are other people who
of course I understand it fully, and I have all the theoretical knowledge about it and everything I could read, and I understand it fully. But of course, when it comes to also practical bit, it's also an issue. And I think also there's also a problem, maybe the child will talk about it, about religious also.
Yes, by the way, speaking about that, why do a lot of people shy away from assisted reproductive technology?
Maybe one or two comments about the surrogacy and about donors. Yeah. Yes, we have a problem with surrogacy. We have an old law which is not in tandem with the times that we are today. And the law basically says that whoever carries the baby and whoever delivers is the mother. Right. So in case there's a couple who actually commissions somebody to carry the baby for them, once that baby has been born, this couple has to actually start the process of adoption of that baby. But was lucky enough to be in a committee with Professor Koigi and other people who actually drew up the ART bill, but unfortunately it has had some hiccups. It has not gone through. But we are not going to give up because we need regulation.
Absolutely.
Now, when it comes to donation of sperm, donation of eggs, and so on, it is actually happening in Kenya. And they do that, couples do that because they don't have an option at all. Now, when it comes to a question of why are some people
shying away,
bit shy, ambivalent about treatment, I think it is number one, lack of knowledge. Number two, availability of these services. Number three, religious and cultural issues. I know that, for instance, in the Muslim faith or Islam faith, they do not actually accept donation of gametes. Because where I worked in the UK, we had a lot of patients from the Middle East. And if a patient came, a lady came and we told her, you know what, the chances of you producing your own eggs is almost zero. And you would best use a donor. They would say, religion does not allow.
If God has
decided that's where it's going to be, that's where it's going to be. There are some faiths as well. I think the Catholic faith also does not look at IVF kindly. Because I think their belief is that this baby who's going to be born has to be born naturally. And if it can't be born naturally, then it is ungodly, as it were, in quotes. But there are some instances whereby these couples, it is not possible, like we have the couple here, where it is not possible for them to have this baby naturally. But God has given us this knowledge and skills and ability to actually help these couples.
Absolutely. Okay, Jimmy from Isili actually goes on to send a text message and says, my wife got pregnant but miscarried very early. It's been 4 months since she's not gotten pregnant again despite us trying. What could be wrong?
Different things.
So
different things.
Again,
so she needs, or they need to actually come and see a doctor. And then we see where the possible problem could be, and then we can be able to help them.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the success stories here, because I believe as a couple, you've been through it, you've won the T-shirt, you know the struggles, what other couples are facing today. Why don't you tell us about our success story?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what to say.
Yes.
But, okay, going through IVF, it's a journey. And there's some people who go there and
nothing works out. But for you, it worked out.
Yeah, for me, it worked out. And I thank God for that. I have a baby through IVF.
Okay.
And I really thank God for that. I don't know what to say, but I thank God because I'm happy now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got 2 babies. There's Baraka, and our IVF baby is Belively. I hope I said that right. Belively. Hopefully we'll get to meet them towards the end of the program because they're here in studio with us. But I want to congratulate you for making it this far. Isn't this such a special baby? Yes, what do you want to say?
Yeah, there is also something that Dr. did not mention. That the challenge that we also have with IVF is about cost. It's quite costly.
It is costly.
And it's not accessible to many people.
Actually, yes.
And then there's also the issue of, you know, it's like a gamble. Because you're told success rate is 40%, some say 50%, and you see that's a very small margin. I mean, like out of 10 people who try it out, only 4 will manage.
And so someone will say, then what's the point of trying if you're only giving me such a small window of success? What are the risks when it comes to IVF if I decide, okay, you're going to harvest these eggs, whatever is going to happen in that lab? Could work or not work out.
But you see, there are different reasons why an IVF cycle will work or will not work. That is why we look at, number one, what is the reason? What are the reasons of the failure to conceive? If there's an issue with the tubes, with the fluid in the tubes, that is going to be an issue. Age is a factor. The older ladies become, the poorer the success rates. The semen analysis, if it is poor quality, it means that we may get poor quality eggs, poor quality embryos, and that will have a poor success rate.
All right, Betty from Kabarak is on the line. Good morning, Betty. Hello, good morning, Betty.
Good morning.
Yes, question or comment, please.
My question is, I had a question.
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
Is sperm leakage an infection or is normal?
Is
infection or normal?
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Okay, Doctor, you'll answer your question in a bit. She talks about an infection and wondering if that could really reduce your chances, perhaps. And I think that's what she means by that. Yes. But even as you're thinking about that, there's a support group in Thika called the Elohim Women Group. And it's actually a group for women who are childless. Now, they actually talk about how they come together as women to raise funds for IVF. I found that so interesting. But on top of that, Dr. they actually say that Kenyan hospitals charge a minimum of 500,000 Kenya shillings for IVF. What are the kind of cost implications we're looking at if you decide this as a treatment option? Actually,
there's a wide range.
Yeah.
From 400,000 to about 700,000. The reason being, I mean, different people have different markups, different costs, and so on and so forth. But truly speaking, for the average Kenyan, an IVF cycle is expensive.
Yes.
However, if you compare the costs of Kenyan treatment in Kenya to, say, for example, treatment in the US or in the UK, it's small. But again, the economies are different, so we can't say it's cheaper here as compared to that. But we have an issue, and the biggest issue we have with the costs is basically the medications for stimulation. They are quite expensive. We import everything. So with the markups and the pharmaceutical companies have to make a profit and so on and so forth. That is what makes it expensive. Okay? Now, what is happening? NHIF is actually helping, but its help is only one-sided. One-sided in the sense that it is only catering for government officers.
Yes.
It's not catering for the local community. Which I think is discrimination, if you ask me. And I think it's unconstitutional because it should be for all. So why should NHIF only pay for public officers and not for everybody? I think it would be fair if NHIF said, you know what, we are going to subsidize these costs and say we'll pay a flat rate of, let's say, 200,000 for everybody, and then they can actually, you know, top up with that. I think it would be a fairer way of doing things.
So even as we begin to start winding down this conversation, let's talk about reducing the stigma surrounding infertility. We have only exactly 2 minutes to go. I'm going to start off with our couple here. The Elohim Women Group actually speak, you know, openly about their situation, but get this, most of their husbands have refused to speak to reporters.
Completely. Typical of men.
It's typical of men.
Typical of men.
Let me start with you, Abedi. What do we need to do to actually encourage more men to come out and speak about this, from your opinion, very quickly?
Yeah, I think just speaking about it, and I think now that we've started the conversation, we can still keep talking about it, because by speaking about it, you also encourage the women, and also you also support them in going through this journey. Of course, it's not easy, because people will look at you as a lesser man and such like a thing, because, you know, a question will be asked, how sure are you that you're the one who did that work? Because this thing was done in the lab and everything. So it's like, umeshindwa kulenga bao, so lazima usaidiwe, you know, those things. There's that stigma.
You don't want to be the center of ridicule.
You don't want, like, huyu jamaa alisaidiwa kazi, you know, such like a thing.
So, and that sounds so bad. Huyu jamaa alisaidiwa na kazi.
Yes, it is so bad. There's a lot of stigma around it and everything.
Who is the cause of all this stigma, Lillian, in your opinion, especially from you guys on a personal front? Who is the one piling this pressure? We've talked about society. Who is this society?
Of course, friends. Some relatives.
Let's stop there, relatives. It's relatives.
Relatives.
Yes.
Relatives. Unfortunately, the aunties, the uncles, wengine wanasema, wengine wamekuja tu kula hapa. Wengine wanafanya sivini. You know, some snide remarks which may not be straightforward, but you actually know what they actually whether
are implying by that. Okay, very quickly, I want us to talk a little bit about lifestyle choices. And one question we have here is about the pill. Can contraceptives actually cause long-term infertility, Dr. For those of us who are on birth control pills, what do you have to say as we say goodbye?
That is a bit controversial.
Okay.
In that we actually use the pill. We use the pill sometimes even in the treatment of infertility.
Yes.
In that when we want to treat many patients at the same time, what we call batching, we actually put them on pills for about a month, 2 months or 3 months.
All right.
Now here we are talking about 5 years, 10 years and so on. It depends on when these patients start using the pills.
Yeah.
If they start using them at 20 or 25 and they use them for 10 years, and that will be, they will have reached 35, technically, they have actually reached that place where fertility starts dropping.
Okay.
Is it because of the pill? Not necessarily.
All right.
It is because of the age.
Okay. What we're going to say is that we have come to the end of our social hour. If you do want to get in touch with Dr. Kireki or Manwa, where can we find you?
I'm located at 5th Ngong Avenue.
Okay.
On the 3rd floor, 314.
Okay.
And the office number is 0780 170 170.
Dr. Kireki, we can't thank you enough for coming through. A big thank you to Lillian and Abedi Ominde for sharing their story this morning, talking to us openly about infertility, and you can actually see the effects that it really does have. Like I said, so many Kenyans actually facing this. Almost 4.2 million Kenyans. That's the estimate that's out there. So how often are we talking about this? Okay, so as we say kwaheri, we're going to actually see if we can say hello to the beautiful children. Oh!
You know, those are the most sincere cries ever. It's time for us to say bye-bye.
Right,
of course,
Mama,
you can see they're here. Have a great day.
Almost
running to the children.
Almost running to the children. That is Belively.
That is.
Okay, and that is Baraka here. This is our special baby here.
Oh, amazing. Of course, right there. Guys, yes. An amazing show, of course. And I think the gist of the discussion being the fact that at the end of the day, there is hope, as you've heard right there. There's ways you can go and do that. Fight the stigma and, of course, have the blessings and the beauty. Yes. Here it is. Asanteni sana for sharing your story and for your advice, Dr.
Yes.
Asante so much. It's time for us to say bye-bye.
Yes, absolutely.
It is. Okay, of course, we are back tomorrow bright and early. After this, of course, a rerun of Punchline in case you missed it yesterday. What did Musalia Mudavadi have to say? Is he the new face of the opposition? That's something we'll be listening to right here on the show. Then, of course, after that, we get into the daily brief right here on K24. Have a great morning. We're back on Tuesday. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.